Welcome to the VocabVoyage video for October. It's on the Scottish referendum. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago in Scotland they had a referendum about going on their own away from England. The no camp won in the end, but it was a tight run thing, and there's still trouble and argument, and it will carry on. It's carried on for hundreds of years, so it will carry on again. But here we go. Now print out the PDF or have it open on a separate window and look at the words as I go through them, okay? It's a good way to just match up my definitions with your Japanese definitions. Here you go. First word, result. Result of a game is who wins the game. Results of elections are who won the elections. So the result of this election was no. They want to stay with England rather than go away from England. Trickle. Trickle. If water trickles, it's just a little bit, very slowly. Trickle in the context of this document, of this article, they were talking about votes trickling in. So the votes weren't pouring in, they just started to trickle in, come in slowly. Water trickles, it's just a little bit. Independence. Independence is what Scotland wanted. They wanted independence from England. They wanted to go their own way. In the end, everyone decided or half the people decided they didn't want to go their own way, so they're not. Union. A union between a man and woman is a marriage. Scotland and England had a union. It's a joining, a pair. Okay, so for a long time there's been a union between Scotland, Wales, England and Northern Ireland. The United Kingdom. Union, united, you see the same word. Significant. Significant means by a lot. In the context of this article, significant victory. No, it wasn't close. It was significant, so it was like a landslide. It was a big difference. Remote. Remote in this article is talking about remote places. Remote places are very far away. Where I grew up in New Zealand was fairly remote. If you live in Wakanai, you live somewhere fairly remote, a long way away from the main centres. Ferry. Ferry in this list is a verb. To ferry something is to move something from A to B. In this word they're talking about ferrying votes. Very often in a ferry, but also in a helicopter, in a plane, in a truck, by car, to move something or people from one place to another. A ballot. A ballot is the piece of paper you get where, for example, the Scottish people in their situation, the ballot would have been the bit of paper where they could tick yes or tick no. That piece of paper is called your ballot. It's what you vote with. Spark. This whole Scottish independence referendum sparked a lot of interest. Bring about, begin, create. The Soccer World Cup sparked a lot of interest in soccer around the world. The problem with Fukushima Daini Genpatsu, yeah, that sparked a lot of debate about nuclear power. To spark is to bring about, to make happen. Spark interest. Intense. Intense means wow, a lot, deep, fast. The intense interest. People were very interested, very passionate, a lot of fire in their bellies about this subject. They were very intense. Licensed. In Scotland and England and New Zealand and most places, I imagine all places, to sell liquor or alcohol you need a license. So if a place is licensed, they have a license, so they're allowed to sell liquor. So some places are licensed 24 hours, so they can sell liquor 24 hours. Campaigner. Campaigner is a person who is fighting for something he believes in. The campaigners for independence. They were trying to change other people's minds. They were waving banners. A campaign is an effort to change other people's minds. A campaigner is a person who takes part in that effort. Reduce. Reduce means to bring down, bring the level down. In this article, they're talking about reducing the power that England has over Scotland. They want to reduce that and make Scotland. If they reduce England's power to nothing, then they've got independence. But I think this whole referendum business will reduce the amount of power England has. Reduce, okay? People want to reduce the death rate from crashes on the road. If you drink too much alcohol, it reduces your chances of living to be 100. Yeah? Reduce, bring down. Currency. Currency, Japanese currency is the yen. New Zealand currency is the New Zealand dollar. The greenback is the American currency. The currency in this, they were talking about that if Scotland became independent, they would have to maybe move away from the euro and the pound sterling and have their own currency, which would have been a huge undertaking. Dwindle. In this article, dwindle, this is the dictionary form, and the article is dwindling, which means to get smaller. Scotland, one of their main assets is oil, and it's getting smaller. Of course, like the world's oil, it's dwindling, it's getting smaller. Dwindling. Reserves. A reserve is something you've got which is there, but you don't need it right now, so you can save it till later. Scotland has reserves of oil, but they're getting smaller. They're dwindling. Outcome, another word for result. The outcome of the Scottish referendum was that Scotland decided to stay with England in the United Kingdom rather than go out on their own. Station. In this article, it's talking about a polling station. A station is an official place set up for an official purpose. In this article, the stations were polling stations, places set up where people go to vote. Usually in schools, very commonly in schools. New Zealand anyway, and I imagine the same there, polling stations are very often in schools. Proposition. Proposition is a plan, it's a suggestion, it's an idea. The proposition was that Scotland leave the United Kingdom and they go out on their own. That was the proposition, the plan, the idea. Waiver. Waiver. If you are absolutely sure about something, you're not wavering. In this article, they're talking about people wavering. Yes, no, yes, no. Monday, yes. Tuesday, no. Monday, yes. Tuesday, no. So back and forth. Nervous. Fuan. Nervous. They're nervous about the result. What's going to happen? Am I going to get what I want? Is Scotland going to go on their own? I don't know. Nervous. Fuan. Yeah? Regardless. Doesn't matter. Regardless, whatever you say, whatever you do, regardless, you don't care about anything else, just I want this, regardless. Cast. To cast is a verb. To cast a vote is to vote. To cast your vote is to the action, the verb of voting. You go in there and you tick the box, you just cast your vote. Genzai, kako, stand, cast. Sway. Sway and waver, very much alike. okay? But you can sway someone else. If you change someone else's mind, you sway their opinion. Or if your opinion sways, it's like wavering back and forth. If a building sways, it's going like that. In an earthquake, buildings will sway back and forth. District, an official area. Districts, in this we're talking about voting districts, an area with a boundary. In that area, you belong to that electorate. Districts in Japan would be ken. Yeah? There's 47 districts in official districts, and Tokyo, which is a bit of a different one. Turnout. Turnout means how many people turned out to vote. Turnout is the number of people that turned out, that came out and voted. The turnout was very high in this election. Turnout in Japanese elections, traditionally not so high. Non-binding. The whole thing about this referendum is that it was non-binding. It was voted no, but if it had voted yes, it wasn't official. They weren't going to secede. It was just non-binding, means non-enforceable. Okay? Non-binding means it really makes no difference, that they don't have to obey it. Secede. Oh, Ukraine. Ukraine are trying to secede from Russia. Secede means to go out on your own, to leave a country and begin your own country. Who wants to secede? You've got the French section of Canada. They sometimes want to secede from Canada. You've got Ukraine wants to secede. You've got Hokkaido wants to... Oh, I didn't say that. No, Hokkaido doesn't want to secede, do they? Okay, replicate. Replicate means to copy. In this article, they're talking about if Scotland was successful, other countries could replicate their efforts, copy their efforts. Seize. Seize means to grab with both hands. Seize. If you've ever seen the Dead Poets Society, if you ever saw the Dead Poets Society, you would have heard Robin Williams, bless him, saying seize the day, which means grab something and hold on. They're talking about seizing the chance to become independent. Okay. Outcome, regardless. Outcome, hang on, I may have made a mistake, guys. Let me go back. Outcome, the result of something. The outcome of the election, the outcome in this situation was the no vote won. Okay, that was outcome. Regardless means everything else aside, this is happening. Regardless of the way people feel, they should vote for Scotland rather than with their head, not with their heart. That fell apart a bit at the end, guys. I'm sorry. Thank you. Remember, check out the PDF and have a nice day.